and to support her and not try to rush through a show today, I'm going to give you a replay. It is Black History Month. A lot of things are going on, and I always am fascinated by women that are creating history. I've talked to a lot of great individuals here on this platform, and today's replay is no one different from being great and being excellent in everything that they're doing. It is Commissioner Natalie Hall. We're going to replay my conversation with her. It is a very political year, right? Very locally as well as on a national level. Everyone's talking about running for office or rerunning and things like that. So I think it's just appropriate for today that we just kind of look into what Natalie Hall is doing for District 4, all of the changes, all of the enhancements that she's promised to do as she's running for re-election later this year for her commissioner seat. So I want you guys to enjoy that and take away whatever you can. Have those questions on the forefront, as this, like I said, this is a political year on various different levels. And so it's just very important that we stay engaged and we know what's going on. So I'm going to leave you guys with that. I also got a couple of things going on with Real Chicks Rock. We're always in the background working on things, churning away. So please don't think that we're not. It is the start of a new year. 1 month has gone already quickly. So we got 11 months for this year to make things happen. And we've got some events and some things that are queued up, some workshops. And we're going to be doing a little shifting as to how we focus our energies and how we pour back into the youth, right? We're going to really focus on mentoring younger women as they need that support, as it's very challenging for a lot of for them during this time. So we're going to be looking to do some things. So stay posted. Keep an eye on us. Don't forget about us. We are here. T-shirts. I always have T-shirts here on the table. I'm giving you guys a break today. We're going to be relaunching some new T-shirts here very, very soon. So please look out for the teasers and the announcements on that. And then also we, as Real Chicks Rock, we're always partnering with other people. We love to do that in collaborations. And so it is that time of year where I think we're starting to get out of the crux of winter. Today feels very nice outside in Atlanta. So keep in mind that things are going to be popping in the A as they typically do. We got a very busy week for Black History Month and just everything that's going on. So check us out. Check out Hot Ice Live Entertainment. They have several shows going on this month. They have a show this Friday with Erica Dawson at Venkman, so you don't want to miss that. They have the incomparable Roy Ayers coming to City Winery this week as well, so go online and get those tickets. And then they're going to be doing some live house music on Sunday with Latasha Leray at Buteco. So please, if you're not following Hot Ice Live, you need to, because there's a lot of great things that are happening with that brand and you want to be connected with them. Likewise for me, if you're not subscribing to this channel, you need to, because we are everywhere. We're not stopping. We want to shout out to our new affiliate as we are going to be broadcasting our show on Highway Sounds, New Highway Sounds Radio. So we're excited about that. So thank you for that. Thank you for that affiliation. And we're going to be giving you the information as to when we're going to launch on that network. So it's just another one, and we're going to take them one network at a time. So we thank you guys for checking this out. Subscribe to the channel on YouTube. Follow us on iTunes and iHeart, and we're on Pandora as well. We're on Roku. We're on Status Network. We're on Live TV. We are everywhere. So guys, thank you so much for your time. We hope that you enjoyed my conversation with Commissioner Natalie Hall of District 4 of Fulton County. Until next time, you guys take care and continue to rock on. What's wrong? Good afternoon to Real Chicks Rock Presents Real Discussions. I'm your host for today, Michelle Dawes-Bird, and I'm always excited to be here with you guys on Sunday. It's actually every first and third Sunday at 2 o'clock, so thanks for joining us. today is no different, no exception to the rule. As you could see, for those that are watching, I got somebody that's really beautiful, smart, intellectual, part of the government process sitting here to my left, and I'm going to introduce her momentarily. But for those listeners, the new listeners, thank you. For the returning listeners, thank you as well. Just want to give you guys a little background as to what Real Chicks Rock is all about. We're all about creatively collaborating and connecting to raise awareness regarding issues that impact women. We're here to level the playing field, if you will, by way of community service, mentoring, public speaking. We have workshops and programs in place. And the last thing that we have is the arts, and that's this particular platform, the media. And we're very super excited about that because it allows us to talk about these issues that are near and dear to our heart and just be informative and transparent to help people have empowerment tools so they can continue to move on and rock on, if you will. So like I said, today is no different. I have none other than Natalie Hall from Fulton County District 4. Commissioner Hall, how are you?
I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm good. Thank you. Thanks for joining us. I know you're very, 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 very busy. So I thank you in advance for just taking some time to be with us today and just talk about a few things.
I'm so glad to be here.
Awesome. Awesome. Commissioner Hall and I met through a mutual person, Jason Hawkins, right?
Yes.
And so he is the founder and owner of Respected Roots, and he had a pop-up shop, if you will, and invited me to come out. And I'm glad that I did, because that day was the day that I met you, Commissioner Hall, and we just clicked.
We did click.
Right
Yes,
away. Your face lit up just like it's doing right now.
Oh man, that was a good conversation
It was a very good conversation. And so with that,
took me back to the whole thing.
it was a great day. And so we met that day, and it led to this. I wanted to ask you, Commissioner Hall, when did you know you wanted to get into government?
Well, it wasn't that I knew that I wanted to get into government. It was my whole family was into government. I had elected officials and I had public servants in my family, and I was really kind of like the kid that was completely different from everybody.
Okay.
I was the technology geek.
All right.
So I was the black girl who was into gaming and computers. I had the first Atari that was ever created. I'm dating myself, I know. But you know, I was actually in a career in information technology for over 20 years.
Wow.
And I mean, literally in the environment where a lot of times I was the only black female manager, the only black manager in the IT organization. And it got to the point where I somehow ended up getting into government because my uncle ran for the president of the Cook County Board of Commissioners in Chicago, and he won. He became the first black president of the Cook County Board, and I went back home in 1994 to kind of see, you know, did I want to be back home, or did I, you know, what did I want to do? And I still was doing information technology, but I worked for the Circuit Court of Cook County, and that was my first real, you know, county government job. I stayed there through one winter and realized, no, Atlanta is home. I got to go back, send me back. And I ended up coming back and working for Fulton County government in their information technology department. Now, people always told me I was the most sociable technology person they had ever met in their lives. So that said a lot, but it never clicked to me that I was anything other than just a techie. Until my boss, who was my neighbor, who lived a block and a half away from me for 19 years, decided that she was going to run for Fulton County Commissioner of District 4. And she asked me to help her because she needed someone to do the technology for her campaign. And I said yes. And long story short, she won and was sworn in January of 2011. And she came after me strong, and she said, I want you to be my chief of staff. And I told her, you must have lost your mind. I was like, what makes you think that makes sense?
Yes.
And she laughed just like you did, and she said, I see something in you that you obviously don't see. She said, you know this political world, you know it, And I said, I know it, and I do not like it,
Wow.
and I never want to be in it. I just want to continue to serve people through technology. I think that's just my calling. And she said, no, it's bigger than that. And she kept coming after me until I finally gave in and went to work for her September of 2011. So 9 months into her first year of her first term. And I ended up staying with her as her chief of staff for 6 years until she passed away in 2017. And then I was faced with, okay, so do I take a technology job and go back into the technology field? I got a lot of job offers over $100,000 salaries, but on the other side of that, all the constituents were calling me and emailing me and texting me and saying, you have to continue the work that you started with Commissioner. Only you can do it because only you know it.
Right.
You've been her right hand for the 6 years she's been in office. We need you. And my heart is always with the people. And so I decided that I was choosing the people over the career in IT, and I ran. And that's how I ended up in this seat.
Have you enjoyed the seat, the ride so far?
I'm loving it. I'm loving it because being able to impact people's lives in a positive way directly is an awesome, just, it's a beautiful blessing.
Wow.
And it's something that I prayed for so long, to just be able to for God to bless me to be a blessing to millions of people. And he answered that prayer by giving me this seat as the county commissioner, because we literally do things that can improve people's quality of life.
Immediately.
Yes, services and programs that we actually budget for and fund that provide a better quality of life for young people, seniors, families, individuals. That happens through us pressing a button every first and third Wednesday of the month at 10 o'clock a.m. in the Fulton County Government Center at our televised Board of Commission meeting.
Wow.
Yes.
That's pretty powerful, Commissioner.
Yes.
That's pretty powerful. You don't take it for granted. You seem very humbled by the opportunity to do this type of work.
Because I know it's a blessing to be able to be here. It's not something that I take for granted at all.
When you first came into government, did you have some programs you wanted to see launch, and you were able to put them in place?
Well, when I first came into government, my main focus was on my boss, because it wasn't shortly after coming to work for her that she was diagnosed with cancer. And so I knew the things that she had a heart for, and I had the same heart for them, because before coming to work for her, I did talk to her about what her vision was and what her goals were, because in order to support her, we had to be of like mind. And so she had a heart for health. She thought that every individual should have access to quality health care, and they shouldn't have to worry about whether or not they had insurance to pay for it. And she also was big on HIV/AIDS and finding a cure, because she always told a story about her brother who he caught HIV and then had full-blown AIDS during the 70s when people were outcast. And
we didn't even know what that was then.
And she was really hurt by that. And so she had vowed that was one of the things she would focus on, and she did. As well as we just had a heart for seniors. You know, our seniors and our youth are the most vulnerable population. And, you know, and then our homeless population, which is often overlooked. And people just act like they're not there. But they're people too. And they're not all drug addicts. They're not all people who have substance abuse issues or anything like that. Sometimes all it takes is just being one check away from being homeless, you know, losing a job that is sustaining you and your family, and that can put you in the streets. Having a health issue that, you know, spirals out of control
Yeah.
You know, there are just instances in life that can really devastate a person or their family.
Mm-hmm. Commissioner, Atlanta is growing by leaps and bounds. I've been here for 30 years, and I've never
True.
seen it. It's just swelling.
Yes.
And I don't live in the city, but I always come to the city, and I'm always in your district in Old Fourth Ward. I'm always in that area. And do we feel that we're starting to become a little bit overwhelmed by the population of people? Because there's more people, so there's more needs that we're trying to address.
So I want to be very clear about this because I hear all these things where people are saying, you know, it really hurts me when I hear other African American people saying, go back where you came from. Because I'm like, do you realize that you're saying something to people that we fought against for so many years, that Dr. King fought against, where we were told to go back where we came from when we were literally born right here in America. You know, our ancestors may have come from Africa, but we were born right here, and we're citizens of the United States. And so the growth, I know, is overwhelming for some, but being on the elected side of it, I know that with growth comes also finances.
Okay.
Because people have to pay taxes in just about everything they do.
Right.
And especially if they buy property. And Fulton County is mostly funded by taxpayers' dollars. So the more people that move here, the more taxes that are being paid into the budget of Fulton County, which in my eyes, I know are going to provide services for the most vulnerable populations.
Okay.
So it helps me as a commissioner be able to take care of those people who are the least of these. And those dollars get circulated back out to fund the services and programs to house the homeless, to feed them, to help our youth who are at risk. And I have a lot of good projects going on to help people, and the funding that we receive from the population of people who are moving to Fulton County helps us do that.
Share with us, Commissioner, some of the projects you have in the pipeline. Look at her face light up. Y'all can't see her. She's all excited about programs. So she's excited. Tell us a few of them near and dear to your heart, Commissioner. Come on.
Okay, well, the most recent one is a project called Project Level Up Juvenile Recidivism Program. District Attorney Paul Howard came to me last year, and he told me that there were over 115 youth that had gone through the juvenile system more than 3 times.
Really? Okay.
And he said it was on the rise. And to me, that's not right. We
Okay.
have to do something about that. So he was working on a project to address the juvenile recidivism, and he actually got the public defender, Vernon Pitts, to join him and put aside their adversarial ways so that they could work on this issue. And then they started pulling in other entities, juvenile court and nonprofit organizations that do things for at-risk youth, and they started to create this team and network of people who had a heart for this issue as well. Well, he included me because I was new, and I don't see any of these invisible brick walls and limitations that other elected officials see. I see opportunity in everything and solutions for the things that we may not have been able to do in the past, but we can try it a different way now. And so attending some of his meetings really put it on my mind to look at how could I help. And the best way I saw fit to help was I requested $500,000 be placed into our Office of Youth at Fulton County specifically for at-risk youth.
Okay.
And that ended up being the funding this year that Paul Howard needed to kick off this project and start it so that we can address juvenile recidivism. And currently he is actually interviewing to hire for the positions that will manage this project. And we are bringing in partners like the At Promise Center, which is through the Atlanta Police Foundation. They are in the English Avenue area, which all of us know is one of the old legacy African American neighborhoods that's going through gentrification right now.
Yes.
And At Promise Center is right near the corner where there's a store, a yellow store that was the store that had sold the most heroin in the United States of America.
Wow.
And they shut that store down.
All right.
And they built police housing right next to
there.
the store and
Wow.
around the block.
Wow.
And at-promise centers right there helping juvenile recidivism by
Man.
having wraparound services in their building.
Mm.
So this partnership and this funding are coming together to really do great things in the community for our youth.
Awesome.
Also, I have a project called, let me talk about pre-arrest diversion.
Ooh, whoa. Sounds interesting. What's that one?
So we arrest people and take them to jail
Yes.
on little things like they urinated in public, they may have been sleeping on the sidewalk, or they call it loitering.
Okay.
And things that some people have mental issues and behavioral issues that they're dealing with, and they just need some services and programs.
Okay.
They don't need to be arrested.
Okay.
Right now, Fulton County has an overcrowded jail, and we are actually being fined because we're not supposed to have an overcrowded jail with people sleeping on the floor.
My goodness.
That's against the law.
Ooh.
Right.
Sleeping on the floor?
Sleeping on the floor. And so pre-arrest diversion is the initiative that will help us get people out of the jails,
Okay.
deter the officers from taking people to jail when they can actually divert them to a pre-arrest diversion center where they can get the wraparound services that they need to help them be successful. So that's one thing I'm working on, and I have a meeting coming up in October, and everybody is going to be there. I have over 31 confirmed attendees, from the Solicitor General to the Public Defender, the DA, the Sheriff, Atlanta Police Department, the Pre-Arrest Diversion Executive Director. Everybody who plays a part in the process is going to be there, because there is something broken in the process right now, and we need to address what it is. So we're going to all sit down for a 2.5-hour meeting. We're going to go through, okay, what happens when the police officer is about to arrest the person? Are they already trained on how to divert, or are they only trained to arrest and take to jail?
Okay.
And if that's so, then how do we put training in place through the training academy when they're first hired, so that they know how to divert? And then going through that entire process from the chief judge's perspective of sentencing and what they do, to where do we take them if they do have a mental issue? As we know, it's been a long time since they closed down all the mental institutions. So we don't have anywhere like that to take them, although we have places like Grady who have small, they have like sections of one floor for that house the mentally ill, and they don't have a lot of space. So we have to think of, how do we address that need as well? Does the county need to fund something? Do we need to help Grady have more space? We're going to look at all of that when we meet for this pre-arrest diversion meeting.
You know, another thing that's swelling is the homelessness in Fulton County, especially in the downtown area. And there was a time where you really didn't see a lot of homeless people, and now there's like literally tents and cities under bridges, in the off interstates, off the ramp, and it's going so far as Alpharetta, where you're seeing people living up along where the MARTA train is running up top, going to like Buckhead and that type of thing. So any ideas or suggestions or programs in place to possibly address that?
We need more housing, and we need all types of housing. Because it's not just one specific population that are homeless. There are entire families that are homeless.
I know.
I look under the bridge.
Me
you know,
too.
most people just drive and
be
keep
looking
their
too.
eyes straight ahead. But when I'm getting on the expressway, I look because I want to see what's going on. Because you can't address something that you don't open your eyes to. So I see entire families under the bridges. I see people who are mentally ill. I see people doing drugs. And we have to look at an overall plan of wraparound services for each group. And that means that we have to also have housing for each group. So if there, one thing that disturbed me that I learned about when Commissioner Garner was alive was that we would take a homeless family and separate the man from the mother and the children.
Yep.
Who thinks that makes sense?
I don't know. Yeah. Yep.
They will house the men separately, and then put the women and children in a separate housing.
Yes.
I even saw where women and children were getting nice townhouse apartments, and the man couldn't even come but during specific times of day to see the family, and then he was escorted off the property.
My goodness.
And I'm just like, we have to do better than that.
Yeah.
And so the county manager and I are actually working together, looking at what can the county do as far as affordable housing. How can we get into the business of providing affordable housing? And we're definitely going to work on that.
Yeah, because it's a lot of building and construction going on for people to buy and purchase homes, and it's like you feel a way in your heart because you're like, we're doing all of this for people who can afford it, but then there's a whole population of people that we pass by to get to those nice houses, those condos that are in the city. And so it's heartbreaking, and it's been this way for the past maybe almost 2 to 3 years now.
Oh, it's been longer than that, because I've lived in Old Fourth Ward in downtown since 1999. And when I moved there, people thought we were crazy because there were still crack addicts, dilapidated homes. I mean, blocks and blocks of boarded up houses and everything. And the schools were supposedly bad, Atlanta public schools. But one thing that I believe is when you live in the neighborhood, you need to be part of the neighborhood.
There you go.
You don't bust your kids out of the neighborhood to the better school. It's a better school because everybody's busting their kids over there, and you're all, the middle class working and upper middle class working families. So yeah, it's going to be the better school. But if you all invest in your own neighborhood school, it can be the better school too.
It can be.
So, so while I lived there, my sons actually went to school in Atlanta. We did not bust them anywhere.
Gotcha.
Even though I had to literally drive 2 blocks from my house and drive my child to school because he could not walk because crack was so bad, prostitution was so bad, and when I would drive him, I would have to put my hands over his eyes because he could see just about anything just by looking out of the window for that 2-block drive to school. And it was like that for a little while. I mean, I had a best friend named Marie Kauser, who everyone knows as a community activist. She literally would take homeless people and take them to her house and feed them, let them stay there and wash up and everything. But Marie used to smoke on my porch, and she would leave her cigarette butt ashes on the porch, and she'd leave a little ashtray there. It was so bad, a crack addict stole her, I'm serious, stole her ashtray and butts and everything. So that's how bad our neighborhood was. And my son's bike was stolen 3 times before we got sense enough to know, there's no chain that's big enough to chain the child's bike to the porch. So that's how bad the neighborhood was. But we lived there. We cared for the people that were there. We tried to make sure that no one was displaced because we knew that many of us were coming to move there. And there was an organization founded by Coretta Scott King called the Historic District Development Corporation. And Coretta Scott King passed that on to a woman named M. Tamanika Youngblood. M. Tamanika Youngblood bought house by house, block by block, from Auburn Avenue all through Old Fourth Ward and redeveloped that neighborhood. And with the help of Marie Kauser, my friend, they tried not to displace anyone. So to this day, you have families in that neighborhood who've been there for 50, 60, 70 years, generations. They were not displaced.
Nice, awesome, and that's a wonderful story, testimony to share, because gentrification is so it's here.
Yes, it is.
It's here, and it's in every city, so it's not like it's just an Atlanta thing. It's happening, and it's starting to slowly happen on the southwest side of Atlanta.
Yes, it is.
Very slowly.
Mm-hmm.
Any thoughts about how that's moving and the impact it'll have in our communities?
Well, it's actually happening right now on the northwest side, west of the Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
Yes,
Because my district goes from Inman Park, Old Fourth Ward,
Yes.
all the way across west of the Mercedes-Benz Stadium to Fulton Industrial Boulevard, where the Charlie Brown Airport
What?
is.
You're that big? You got a big district.
Yes.
Woo!
It goes up to Grady High School.
Oh my!
Comes around 14th Street and goes up and touches 75 North and takes in Howell Mill Road, Bankhead, Bolton. I got the hood in my district, and I love it because I get to help make it what it should be and not allow people to come and change it into something that is not going to include people.
You got a big district.
And then it goes down to I-20, and there's a portion of it that goes all the way down Cascade Road to the Andrew and Walter Young YMCA.
Dang, Commissioner Hall, you got a big district.
It's big. It's
Ooh,
huge.
you're busy.
So I get to serve from the homeless to the very wealthy.
Yes.
And it is, for me, I love it because I get to see positive change happen, and I get to be a part of making that positive change.
Okay. How can we deal with gentrification? Do we need to be more involved in it?
Yes. So we need to ensure that we build in a manner that includes everyone. And I heard a gentleman named John Almond, who is part of the West Side Future Fund. He said to me one day, you know, we missed something when we started to develop east of downtown Atlanta. We missed the fact that we're building up downtown Atlanta, and we have all of these hotels and stadiums and arenas and restaurants, and we have a whole service industry need for people to be employed to serve the people that come in that to visit Atlanta, as well as those who come in to the arena and the stadium. And we forgot to build housing for the people who are going to have those service industry jobs, because those are the people who cannot afford to have a car to live way outside 285 and drive down into downtown every single day and drive back home. They can't afford that, and we don't have the public transportation system to really benefit them living out that far. So he said he's making it his plan to try to incorporate affordable housing on the west side, so that now you have the working class people who want those jobs and who want to be near those jobs. They're living in the neighborhood as we're developing around for the people who have, you know, make more money, but there's now that balances out that neighborhood. And that's how we should be doing it.
Yeah, that's an awesome plan. That sounds good. Because, a lot of people that have those jobs have to take a bus or two to get to the MARTA and do all that, too. And hopefully the MARTA takes them close enough to the job that they have to work.
Yes, but I consistently hear about this 1 mile stretch that needs to be addressed for people to literally get from MARTA to where they need to go. There's an absence of transportation for about 1 mile that people need, and so we need to just develop the housing that they need closer to their employment.
Gotcha. Talk to me about the seniors. You got a seniors Beltline tours or something, some programs for the seniors, because you got a heart for the seniors.
I love my seniors. So when I visited all the senior centers and high rises and apartments in my district, the seniors told me that they knew nothing but negative things about the Beltline. You know, that the Beltline is going to push them out, and they won't be able to live in downtown. They won't be able to keep their houses that are along the Beltline in those historic African American neighborhoods. And I said, well, I want to make sure that they know what's going on and they feel like they're a part of it, and they're informed, and they're, you know, actively being able to contribute to what they want to see the Beltline be for them. And I started these senior Beltline tours where, depending on how many of them register, we either take a small van or a larger van or a bus, and we travel all the way around the entire Beltline. It takes about a half day, and I feed them free lunch. We stop at Kroger on Cascade, and they take the opportunity to do a little bit of grocery shopping while they're there. And we just have a good time because it becomes really interactive because these seniors, a lot of them have grown up in these neighborhoods or raised their families or still live in the neighborhoods or had friends and family in these other parts of Atlanta. And they start to tell us stories about, you know, different places along the Beltline, and it becomes really interactive.
Yeah. When people are not invited to the table or if there's not inclusion, then the fear comes into play. Because then they feel like, oh, everything's changing around me. I don't know what's going on. So information is the key, and inclusion is important. So people can feel that it's still a community. It's just becoming a bigger community now.
That's right.
Because we have so many people that appreciate the Beltline, just the scenic view of it, the fact that you can walk and just be a family. It's very family oriented for the most part, right? It's like a walking park.
And you can ride your bike on there. You just can't have anything motorized on the Beltline. But you can ride bikes. I see people skateboard. It's just really a great, it's a great connectivity way, a way to connect to all the neighborhoods. I'm looking forward to fully going around the circle, walking or riding my bike or whatever, because I want to see every single neighborhood.
Talk to me about CEOs of Tomorrow. I'm not even going to look at you because you're too excited. I'm not even going to look at you because you're too excited. Your face lit up. Come on.
CEOs of Tomorrow.
CEOs of Tomorrow. Tell us about that. What is that about?
So CEOs of Tomorrow the CEO stands for Careers, Entrepreneurships, and Opportunities. It's a youth conference that I have every year because our youth need to see people that look like them and be able to actually talk to them, touch them, ask them questions. So we have industry leaders from film, entertainment, technology, government, elected officials, CEOs, filmmakers, you know, singers, whoever is at the top that these kids look up to, we try to have them at this conference. And you're going to be
I'm going to be a panelist this year. I'm excited. Thank you for the opportunity. So this is my first one. So I'm excited to see how this all works out. And just how many students are we expecting from high school? It's high school students, right?
It's actually all Atlanta Public School, high schools, and Fulton County High Schools.
Wow.
And we invite them. I wish we could do like 1,000.
Right.
But every year we get overwhelmed with so many, and we can only fit up to 300 in the room.
Gotcha.
So we are trying to keep it down, but I'm hoping that maybe we can expand it in the coming years. But right now, the place where we hold it at the Loudermilk Center can only hold
300.
Yeah,
and it's happening. So when is it happening, Commissioner Hall?
It is happening on Friday, October 25th, from 8:30 to 2:30.
Yes.
And you have to go to your principal's office in your high school to find out about it if they haven't distributed the information out. The save the date has gone to all the schools, principals, so that information, if you don't see it around the school, then parents or the high school students can ask their principal's office about the event and get signed up that way.
Is this the second year or third year this has been in existence?
This was actually an idea that I got back when I worked for Commissioner Garner, and she allowed me to start working on it with her then, and I continued to carry it on. So if I counted the years that we did it together, now this would be the 6th year.
6th year.
Yes.
Do you find that students come back and say, thank you for doing that because I didn't know, I had no idea, those type of things, right?
Oh, yes, they learn. We have workshops at the conference, and we have exhibit tables, so they learn a lot. There's a lot of interactive activities going on. And so some of them return the next year because they might be a freshman when they first start coming to the conference, and they come every year. But what's most beautiful is when I see the students who normally are rival schools they are not rivals anymore.
Right.
They're interacting and they're having fun together. When we first started doing this, people said, well, you know, we do have some gang activity in Atlanta, and so what are you going to do about rival schools? And I said, we're not going to do anything. We expect them to act accordingly and be respectful of each other, and they know that. They're being told that before they come, and there has never been a problem. We've never had any type of negative interaction at our youth conferences.
Congratulations. What's the criteria for students to be picked? Is it grades, or you just leave it to the schools?
No grades. I want students to come who want to come, and so it's designed to help youth to talk, think, and take action to overcome those challenges in their environment, the socioeconomic barriers that they might face. And so a lot of times the teachers or principals or counselors will try to pick certain students who are facing some challenges so that they can see something on the other side of that, get them out of their normal environment and get them into a new environment. Because, you know, sometimes I hate when we call them at-risk youth because sometimes all it takes is exposing them to something different. Yeah.
Now, you're a mom.
Yeah.
You're a Navy mom. Yeah.
Yeah.
Got one in the Navy.
Yes, my
So-
26.
So I don't even want to talk about that. You got somebody that's 26 years old coming out of you.
That's my youngest.
I can't with you with 26, and then you have a 30-year-old. You look phenomenal. But I believe you might have a little bias because you have sons. Hence why, don't you have a program that you have geared for the young men? Come on and talk about that.
Well, it's not because of having sons, it's because of hearing the statistics.
Yes.
And the statistics are alarming for our African American young men.
Yes.
I am, I was selected for a National Association of Counties leadership program that Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation is funding. And one of the statistics that they actually shared was that black men are they don't get paid enough. They are socioeconomically challenged in every single economic mobility area, worse than females, worse than black females. I mean, I can't stand it.
Yeah.
And so one of the things that I know we need to do is we need to wrap around our young men and give them the attention and the love and the access to what they need. And so that's why I started Empowering Young Men to Excel as a youth conference, so that we can do that. And the first one was, it had a lot of us wanting to cry because what we realized is that a lot of our young men don't have fathers in the home, or they don't even know who their fathers are.
Come on.
And so for them to see all of these men that had gone through their own struggles, that experienced the same things in life that they're now experiencing, and to be able to talk to them and say, you didn't know your father, but you're now the CEO of this company. How did you do that? And one young man really stood out because he stood up in the middle of the ballroom and he said, I just want to ask any of the gentlemen out there on the panel to answer this question, but how do you deal with the anger and the animosity and the hurt left behind from having an absentee father and not having your father around? And the guys on the panel, they just wrapped around him with love and, told him their experience and how they got over it, and told him that they would be, a father to him if he needed to talk to somebody. And one of our workshop presenters, he actually hugged the young man, and the young man started to cry. And they said later on that he had not ever been hugged by a man in his entire life. As far as he knew, he had not been hugged by a man.
Wow. The power of love.
So that's the kind of change that I want to affect the world with.
You're doing it, Commissioner Hall. You're doing it. You have a lot of hats. a lot of people look at your background and your bio, IT major, Bachelor of Science, MBA, Keller Graduate School. I went to the same school. I did. I have my MBA from Keller too, yeah. But you wear multiple hats. You're on several boards. You're a mom, a wife, a job. You look at you. You look like you're fun when you're out, when you're not working. So for the people that are listening, how do you balance it all, Commissioner? How do you do it all?
You have to have an outstanding family and a wonderful team that is like your family. So in my office, my team is like my family, and my family and my team connect like this.
Wow.
So
Hi, team.
So for anyone who was at the health fair and walk yesterday, they would have seen my son, my team, me, all of us together.
Right.
Because in order for me to do this successfully, I have to have the support of family and team, or else I couldn't do it. And they have to be able to work together and talk to each other, because there's some things that are going to take me away from family, and there's some things that family can be incorporated into. And so that's the only way that I could do this.
Any
So I
son?
want to say shout out to my team. Anita Harris right over here. She is, I know she's Facebook Live and or something.
Yeah, she's doing
Something's going
something.
on
She's
over
over
here.
there.
Anita
Yeah,
Harris.
she's doing something over
She's
there.
my Director of Legislative and Community Affairs.
Yeah, she's awesome.
And I have my Chief of Staff is Calvin Brock, and my policy and community analyst, she's new. That's why I'm stumbling over her title, Sequoia Kirby.
Yeah, I Sequoia.
And my communications manager is Sabria Rivers.
Yes, Sabria. I met Sabria through email to make this happen, and I'm not afraid of Calvin. Tell Calvin I'm not afraid of Calvin.
Oh,
Calvin,
she's saying that because Calvin is a retired officer from New Jersey, a Navy and an Army veteran, has done undercover, narcotics, drug, gang task force.
Yeah.
It does FEMA in his spare time whenever he can get
Oh
some
my
time.
gosh.
And was a sheriff.
Yeah, he looked like he does all that stuff. I'm not afraid of him, no. I'm not.
Sometimes we are.
Yeah. He's a good man. You have a good staff.
He starts ordering us around. We're like, look at Anita shaking her head. Yeah.
Yeah. Man, what's next for you, Commissioner Hall? I mean, program-wise, is there a program you'd like to launch that you haven't done yet?
I am working on several things. Fulton County used to have a grant program called the Fresh Grants, which included all the community service grants for nonprofits to be funded who do anything for seniors, youth, disabilities, homelessness, and economic development. But Fresh Grants also had a health component, so we gave grant funding to organizations that provided healthcare services and programs. And somehow, in the transition to try to improve the grant process, health was left off.
Okay.
So I'm working on trying to institute that with, of course, the assistance of my team, Anita. And we are actually looking at how to put the health grants back in place, because there are organizations that specifically deal with HIV/AIDS that we need to partner with and fund to help us with, getting rid of HIV/AIDS and providing those services to people that have, you just made me think about HOPWA housing funds has been a big issue lately in the news. And for those people who follow the news for the city of Atlanta, it was in the news that they were going to lose millions of dollars, and that money is specifically used for people who have HIV and AIDS so that they can have housing. And for us to lose money in a space like that is devastating.
Yes, it is.
So housing is another big thing for me, and not just for specific groups, but just affordable housing overall. And when I say affordable, let me be clear, I don't mean $1,000 a month.
Okay.
I mean affordable based on the person's income.
Come on, Commissioner.
Because affordable housing, having 20 units out of 1,000 in a apartment building, and the rent is $1,000 a month is not affordable for
Yeah.
anyone, as far as I can see, because our cost of living continues to rise and
Come
people's
on.
salaries are not.
Come on now.
I'm sorry. I could just get on a soapbox and get me
Come on,
started.
Commissioner, because it's not. It's not.
No,
It's
no.
not. And so even with younger kids or just people in general, they're having to have several people to room with them. They have to have roommates in order to
Yes.
make rent.
Yes.
And that's the reality of it. So it's just like it's a dual dynamic because we see this evolution of this metropolis. Atlanta continues to grow. It's a beautiful city, but then there's some areas that still needs our attention and
Yes.
work because we're going to leave a demographic of people behind
That's right.
if we don't provide the resources that they need. So
Well, I really think that we're not going to leave them behind, but it's going to make a situation that's worse for those people who thought they were leaving somebody behind.
okay.
Because like we saw in 2008, 2009, where we had the mortgage crisis, we are
Yes.
heading in that direction again.
Come on.
So,
Come
you know,
on, come on.
if you Google this and look at upcoming recession, the finance world is saying that we should expect another recession coming up in 2021, 2022,
Okay.
right here in Atlanta. And if you look at the housing costs, they are absolutely ridiculous. I said, who has jobs for these
Come on.
condos
Come
that
on.
started $1 million?
Come on.
There are not enough people in the world that even make that kind of money.
No, yeah.
And these apartments that are $2,500 a
Yeah,
month,
yeah.
1 bedroom.
I
and
know.
That's absolutely
It's
ridiculous.
crazy.
But we are creating a bad situation for everybody. And I think, unfortunately, if we don't correct it, we will see how it's going to impact everyone. Nobody will be left
Oh
out.
my gosh. That's the reality of it.
Yes.
Fasten your seatbelts. That's what we're going to do.
Well, I'm going to try to do something better along the way and try to redirect some affordable housing into this situation. The mayor is doing a great job in implementing the housing, and as much as I possibly can, I try to make sure people know that she is doing a good job. And you just need to get the information, that's all.
Yeah.
The county has actually partnered with an organization called Partners for Home to add the services, because you know Fulton County is mandated by the state to provide health and human services. So we are going to provide the services for the affordable housing tenants through Partners for Home. So we've actually created that partnership, and there are about probably 800 units just on that list alone of affordable housing coming into downtown.
Yeah. And see, this is why, Commissioner Hall, your programs are so important. And it shows that you're empowered. You, your staff, your role, your position, because you're in a position to make change.
Yes.
And so even though our executive office is not where we ideally want to be, it's important that on the local level we stay involved and we stay engaged, because we can make change on this level,
Yes.
at least in our community. We can't maybe change federal tax laws and that type of thing, but
Oh,
city.
yes, you can. I don't want anybody to think that you can't make change.
Come on, tell me, get me
Because-
together.
Oh, and speaking of taxes, so some people are just misinformed or don't have any information at all, and they think that we keep raising the property taxes, and we're not.
Okay.
We have literally voted to lower the millage rate for all property tax owners in Fulton County, and that millage rate will continue to lower all the way through the next 5 years.
Okay.
It will not go up. But what people don't understand is they pay 3 different millage rates on their property. One is through Fulton County, one is to Atlanta Public Schools, and the third one is to City of Atlanta.
Okay.
So you have to go to each one of those government agencies and let them know, I need you to lower our millage rate.
Yeah.
So when we lower our millage rate, you still have 2 more that you have to pay. So if they're going up and we're going down, you're not going to see the benefit of that.
Right.
And then we have some great homestead exemptions that help people in their homes with paying their taxes or diverting the tax. We have an appeal process in place to help people who are getting the assessment side of it. And this is another part that people don't understand. The assessment of the property is what drives the property bill up.
Mm-hmm.
So if your assessment is high,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to drive your bill up. It's not that your property taxes have increased.
Okay.
It's that your assessment has increased. And it is the state of Georgia legislators who wrote the law on how your property should be assessed. So people should be trying to burst the doors down
Gotcha.
on the state capitol
Gotcha.
to go and tell their legilators, we need you to change that
Come on
bill
now.
so you can help us on our property assessments. Because seniors who have been in their homes for 50 years
Yes.
should not have
Come
to pay
on.
for somebody coming and buying the property next door to them, demolishing it, and building a mini mansion. They shouldn't have to pay for that.
Come on now.
So they need, on that level of the state, to change things. A lot of people don't understand the state governs a lot of what Fulton County does.
Understood.
They are the ones who set up the county board of commissioners. We didn't set ourselves up. So we are governed by them in many cases, and there's nothing that we can do. But the voters always have the power to do.
Gotcha.
And I want to always tell the voters, come to our televised Board of Commissioners meetings. They are the first and third Wednesday of every month at 10 o'clock. You can come in a little bit before 10 o'clock, fill out a speaker's card, and talk to all 7 commissioners for 2 minutes about whatever you want to see us do in your neighborhood in Fulton County, whatever programs you want to ask for. We deal with taxpayers' dollars, so the taxpayers need to come and tell the commissioners what they want to see their
Come
dollars
on now.
paying for.
Come on.
They need to hear from you, because I always try to explain to people there are 7 commissioners. It takes 4 votes to pass anything. And so you have to look at the dynamic of the Board of Commissioners. You have some commissioners that are voted in up north as far as Alpharetta. You have some commissioners that are voted south as far as Palmetto,
Right.
City of South Fulton.
Right.
So they're not all going to know every single area's needs. So the citizens need to come and talk to all 7 to get them all to understand what's going on in their neighborhood. Because I'm only one person, and I speak for every neighborhood in my
I
district.
know that's right.
And I stand up for every neighborhood in my district. But they still need to see the voter's face and hear the voter's point of view.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. How can they get that information, Commissioner Hall?
Oh, they can call my office at 404-612-8226 or go on the county's website at fultoncountyga.gov
Okay.
or my website at fultoncountyga.com.
What's next for you, Commissioner Hall? Are you going to do anything else in another office? Are you thinking about?
Look at her.
Because that resume is pretty fat, Commissioner Hall. You've done a lot of good stuff.
I just got it.
Okay, you can take the 5th. We
all kinds of stuff.
We watching you though. You can take the 5th. Go on and say. Don't say nothing.
I'm
Be
not
safe.
saying anything
Don't
because
say
I still
nothing.
have work to do.
You got a lot of work. Got some work to
Yes,
do.
I have one more. I'm on the ballot next year, November 2020, and I am running again.
Okay.
Because I still want to finish the work. We have got great momentum going on a lot of the initiatives that I've started, and I want to see things come to fruition. I want to see Fulton County actually do affordable housing. I want to see us actually start addressing homelessness a lot better. We have a whole division that focuses on homelessness, but we have lost a lot of employees. That's another thing. People need to go to fultoncountyga.gov and go to our employment page
I'm going.
and look for a job.
I was just going to ask.
We need great people in the government. People don't seem to think about government employment anymore the way
Right.
they used
to.
But come on back, because we have done, I'm serious, because we've done salary studies and everything to make sure that our salaries are competitive with corporate America.
I'm coming.
And we have great benefits. You know, government benefits have always been
Come
good.
on now. She talking now. I'm
So
coming.
come on through. Look at FultonCountyGA.gov for employment. We are redoing our website, so you'll see it change up, and it's going to be
Really?
dynamic too.
Yeah, I'm coming to work
Yes.
for Commissioner Hall.
And
I
I
want to
put a
be.
lot of money in the budget for jobs. So
Come, see, I'm coming.
Come on,
And
y'all.
Anita, I'm coming to work with you, okay? I'm coming on over there. I'm going to apply for the job and go. I'm going to go. How can people find you, Commissioner Hall? Where can they get a hold of you? Give them the number again one more time.
it is 404-612-8226, and I'm on all social media:
You
Instagram,
are.
Facebook, Twitter at FulCoD4. It's FULCOD and the number 4.
I love it. This
And
was
also,
good.
if you want to go to my personal page, it's Natalie W. Hall, NATALIEWHALL.
I didn't even recognize Commissioner Hall today. Look how cute she looks today. She's always in a suit when I see her. Look
Bad
at her.
hair.
No.
And relax.
Yeah, this was awesome. Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you.
This
I
was
appreciate
wonderful.
you so much.
I appreciate you. We're
Because
going to
this
do
is
some
what I
stuff.
love to do, is get information out
Yeah,
to the people
yeah.
any way that I can.
Yeah, because we're misinformed and sometimes we go off our own opinions and we just don't really know.
Yeah.
So by you being here today, you've answered a lot of the questions and
I
just gave
hope
us
so.
a lot of insight on what our power is, because we don't know, but we got it now.
Yes.
Thank you.
And I want to come back and update you, because right now we are working on our budget for 2020.
Nice.
And I'm hoping to put a lot of money in the budget for more programs.
Yes.
Because, this past year our seniors had the opportunity to ride Uber and Lyft for $1 because we put money in the budget for that. For our seniors who don't have
$1?
My son almost choked.
$1. I was like,
Yes.
oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, so and they get home repairs, home delivered meals. I
Yeah.
mean, I just have to say we need to pay respect to the late Fulton County Commissioner Emma I. Darnell, who passed away this year, because she was a huge advocate for seniors and for the least of these, and she mentored me when I came on board last year, meeting with me at least twice a month, and just we rallied together on this year's budget and put a lot of money, millions of dollars, to help people.
Awesome. Yeah, we're going to bring you back. You running next year too? 2026
Yes, I am.
year? November,
Yes,
we'll have to.
I'll be on the ballot.
Yeah, I'm
next
going to
year.
work with your staff, and we're going to get you back way before the campaign starts getting heavy, and because you're going to be really busy. But you are more than welcome to come back
Thank
here
you so
and
much.
share and enlighten the world and everything that you're doing. So thank you,
you.
Commissioner Hall.
Thank you.
That's my time, but you guys can follow me everywhere. I'm on realchicksrock.com. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Facebook. You guys have been showing an overwhelmingly wonderful response on these T-shirts. Go and get them there on the website. And I got staff in the audience. They want some. realchicksrock.com. You go, you cop that order right there. I want to, you guys, listen, today's show was powered by Tora Torres at gmail.com. Yeah, because she does graphic designs and she co-designed this for me. So yes, so if you need some images done, some graphic designs, I need you to slide in on her Instagram. She's DJ Tora on Instagram, and then if you want to just send her an email, that's toratorres at gmail.com. So very good at what she does. So thank you for powering today's show. Again, that's my time. Until next time, you guys take care and continue to rock on. Bye.
Bye, guys.